see what Andy was saying there about Chermiti. I absolutely second that. And earlier on today, there was stuff coming out of Turkey. You can't be too sure about stuff that comes out of Turkey in terms of transfer news. They can be notoriously tricky operators. But there is a suggestion that Besiktas might be prepared to throw the kitchen sink at getting Chermiti, and we're talking about big numbers north of £20 million. If that's the case, I would be absolutely biting their arm off for that sort of cash, because he again tonight, and when he came off the bench at Tynecastle, he looked a little bit more interested. I mean, he was interested in flashes tonight, but it's nowhere near enough. And if that sort of money is being made available for a player that cost Rangers more than they should have spent on him last summer, if they can manage to turn it around, flip the coin and double their money on him in the space of 12 months, 12 largely unimpressive months with the occasional moment of absolute, incredible talent and skill, I think that's a deal Rangers should be looking to do all day long.
I completely agree.
It would help supply them with more funds going into this critical part of the transfer window. So that's one to keep an eye on.
No, I completely agree. If they could get that sort of money, it feels like a no-brainer to me. But in the comments, Keith, one guy that's taken a lot of stick, I'm quite kind of surprised, is Dan Neil. This one here from CDS Rangers says, Dan Neil is Dowell in disguise. Why do we bring these types in? It's pathetic. Stuart says, how many times will Rangers be fooled to sign these useless championship duds? He's a mouse hiding. Asgard is dreadful. Let's stop kidding on. He's a player. I've got to be honest. I thought that Neil was actually one of Rangers' better players in the first half.
Yeah, I wasn't so sure.
No.
But I'm not joining in the kind of pile on him or anybody else for that matter. And I said the same after Celtic's performance at home to Dundee. Yes, they're saying, I mean, Celtic were obviously hoping for better from their new signings. Rangers, I'm sure, when Dan Neil walks out that tunnel, you're really expecting him with the captain armband on to kind of control the midfield. I don't think he was anywhere near controlling the midfield. I think he tried to play the sort of Callum McGregor role, try to get on the ball and dictate and things going through him. But he did it without the conviction of a Callum McGregor. Now, that's not easy done. We're talking about Callum McGregor. He's been one of the best midfielders in this country for I don't know how long now. But I think Rangers need more. They need somebody that can have the same impact on the team as Callum McGregor can at Celtic. On that performance tonight, I wasn't surprised to see him come off at half-time. I think he looks neat. I think he looks tidy. I think he tries to play those kind of line-splitting passes that McGregor plays for Celtic. But I think you need a whole lot more. I thought he looked half a yard off it, Dan, to be honest with you. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go through. Here's my...
Go for it.
That I've got from the first half, right? So it's 4 new signings. So 8 guys from last season. Panda, question mark. I didn't look great at the first goal, but I think that he's basically in the clear because it was mistakes that were getting made in front of him that I think caught him a little bit flat-footed. McCrory, no. Fernandes, no. Sterling, no. Roman's just about, and because of the good work that he did going forward, particularly with the early goal that Rangers got, albeit an own goal. Dan Neil, no. Diomande, no. Yukata, almost a question mark, but probably a no. Chukwani, no. Asgard, no. Chermiti, no. You can't go into a European qualifier and have 7 or 8 of your players not getting pass marks and expect to come away with anything other than a difficult result for the second leg. They corrected it a little bit. That was a 4-2-3-1 formation. He's kind of changed it to almost like a 4-4-1-1, pushing Asgard into a more central area to see if he could get more out of him there. I actually think Asgard's going to have a big season. I think there is a real player there. But I wonder if it is going to be a little bit hot and cold, as one of the comments said there. I wonder if he is one of these players that you can't rely on him for, to be an 8 out of 10 games in a row. You might get an 8 out of 10 followed by a 5 out of 10, followed by a 7 or 8 or a 9, followed by a 3 or a 4. He'll need to find a level of consistency if he wants to be, and he said he wants to be the main man. You can only be the main man if you can be relied upon game in, game out. I wouldn't hammer him tonight for the second goal that Rangers lost, even though he gave it away. I think in that he's on the edge of the penalty box, you're entitled to think he's supposed to be a difference maker. If the flick comes off and Daniel goes in and scores, it's a bit of absolute genius from Theo Askar.
Yeah.
I don't think if you're on the edge of the opposition box, you can be blamed for being the cause of a concession of a goal. You'd like to think as an attacking player that the rest of the team set up behind you, that if this doesn't come off, we're not going to lose a goal from here. So I give him a free pass on that one, but overall performance level, not good enough. He moves into the middle for the second half. He was okay and nothing more than that. He had one chance at goal, blazed it over the top, but in terms of what his overall sort of contribution, I didn't think was good enough. So again, after the break, Pandor, nothing really to do. McCrory, a little bit better, but still not good enough to play that position. I think he's a trier, Ross McCrory, and you'll get all the physical effort. And actually, people say he's slow. I don't think he is slow. I think he's quick enough over the ground. I don't know if he's quick enough up here. Would be my worry for Rangers in a European competition. I would have concerns, and I was surprised that he came back out for the second half because, as Andy said, the boy Schmidt had him in toast in that first half. So that's another concern. Fernandes and Sterling a little bit better after the break, I thought. Romans again did okay. Diomande stayed on the pitch, went out to a kind of wider right position. I didn't think contributed enough. Devlin, Raskin and Curtis were the three massive plus points for Derek McInnes. To a lesser extent, Dragovic when he came off the bench. But those three, I thought, really turned the momentum of the tie tonight, of the game itself. The energy, the sort of drive, the determination, everyone went up a notch with the three of them. Particularly Curtis, who I agree, I think it was what Rebel said there, Rangers' best player, probably was on the night. But I thought the sort of the control they had in the midfield was non-existent in the first half. But Devlin and Raskin, I felt, changed that, and I feel like the Polish side struggled against that industry in the middle of the pitch. I agree with Andy. I wasn't sure who was playing right and who was playing left of the pair in centre mid. I think they were swallowing it about a little bit. One was going, one was staying. That happens. But I do think that they added a bit of bite and energy and drive into the middle of the pitch. And a wee bit of an invention. Raskin picks Finlay Curtis out with an absolutely sublime ball over the top, and Curtis actually volleys it. I think he hits it with the wrong foot. Volleys it with the outside of his right foot. Maybe it wasn't going to come across to his left because there was a defender tight up against him. It was a great effort, though. Great effort off the bar. Curtis probably played his way into a starting position for the game at home at Hibs at the weekend. And I'm pleased for him because he'll know, he's heard all the press conferences, he's heard Derek McInnes saying, I'm screaming out for wide players. Finlay Curtis there got his chance, and I thought he took it in that 45 minutes. Just a reminder to Derek McInnes, I'm here, I can do a job for you, don't discount me. Chermiti again, second half, nothing. So these are big concerns for Derek McInnes.